Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome. I'm Dhwani. Hope you are doing lovely today. Let's tune into Conscious Relationships. Today, I'm going to share with you something about fear. Understanding fear and how to deal with it. Now, what is fear really trying to tell us? All fears are a reaction to something you believe to be true. You don't have a feeling about anything if you don't first have a belief about that thing, that circumstance or situation. That's what fear is for. It is there to tell you you have a belief that is out of alignment with who and what you truly are, as said by Bashar. In our spiritual quest to unlock the ultimate truth of the universe, we come to a place where we seek to understand the role that fear and negative emotions play in our journey. We know that nothing happens by accident, and everything that is in our present reality must be there to serve a purpose. Even the things we do not wish to experience or look at, such as pain, fear, and suffering. A common belief is that when fear has risen, we should have an intuition of sorts of what is true, going to be true, or a premonition of what the outcome of a situation will be. We think to ourselves, my fearful thought about a particular situation must be my intuition of what is going to happen. And because I feel afraid, it must be indicating that there is a potential outcome of this situation that needs to be feared. And actually, nothing could be farther from the truth. When we know that we live in a universe that always has our back, our best interests at heart, and is always seeking to return us back to not only unconditional love, but also attempting to reveal to us our most authentic self, we see that fear can only be showing us exactly what is not true with a particular situation. When we see things from this standpoint, we begin to form a new relationship with fear. Sadness, grief, devastation, hopelessness, defeat, confusion, frustration. Instead of using these emotions as indicators of what is the truth of our present circumstance, we instead use these emotions as guideposts as to how far out of congruence we have become with the ultimate truth of the universe. If put into the most simplest terms, the truth always feels good. So, if you are not feeling good about your present situation, it can only be because you have bought into a belief that is out of alignment with the ever-loving, supportive, and all-knowing intelligence of the universe. So instead of being afraid when fear pops up, we can then use it as an indication that we need to dig a little deeper. We need to get to the root cause of the issue which is the belief behind the belief, the core belief that is the cause of the fearful or negative emotion. Your fear is the indication that you are clinging to something that the source within you does not cling to, as said by Abraham Hicks. Now, by now, you're probably thinking that you have had a fear about something before that has turned into reality, right? There may have been something you were afraid was going to happen, such as losing your job or your partner breaking up with you, and that very thing did come true. So doesn't that mean that the fear you had was real and actually indicating what was going to happen? Well, yes and no. Technically, yes. You had a premonition of the outcome of a particular situation, and the very thing you predicted would happen was what actually did happen. However, the issue is not with the outcome itself, but with the fearful thoughts about the outcome. Your thoughts attracted the situation to occur in reality. You must have heard about thoughts become things, right? Law of attraction. Fear can only indicate that we are expecting something to happen that is not in our best interest, that is going to be so-called bad, what we perceive to be bad, or that is going to somehow make us less of a person. If whatever is the object of our desire is taken from us, in these cases we see that fear is the byproduct of a faulty belief system. It is the beliefs that we are holding on to about the way things need to happen or should go in order to feel good or to feel as if things have gone right, that is causing the fear. If we challenge these beliefs, we see that in actuality they are not true at all. There is nothing that happens that isn't ultimately making us better, wiser, stronger, and ultimately happier. When we look at things this way, we see that anytime a fear-based emotion pops into our mind, the only thing we must do is determine the belief system that is behind the emotion. Once this happens, we are able to start getting more in touch with our subconscious belief systems that may be lurking underneath the surface, causing us problems in our life, causing us to repeat our cycles again and again. So let's explore some common fears and the belief system that causes them to help us get more in touch with the reasons why we may be feeling negative emotions about a particular situation. By simply bringing the light of our awareness to the belief systems, we are able to unravel them from our subconscious mind. The most common one I find is, I'm afraid I will never be successful or live abundantly. This fear is most likely coming from a personal definition of success or abundance that is not in alignment with what the universe considers abundance, but rather what society or someone else has defined for us. When this fear arises, question what your definition is and alter it accordingly to your best interest. The next one is, I'm afraid I will never meet my soulmate. This fear often comes from the belief that one needs someone else to complete them. When we begin to believe that we can feel whole and fulfilled just by ourselves, we not only stop expecting someone else to fulfill us, make us happy, make us complete, but eventually we draw to us another person who is their whole self as well and who is actually right for us. The third one I find is, I'm afraid to go after the job or person or opportunity I really want to because I'm afraid I will fail. This fear is another that has to do with a skewed definition. This time, the definition of the word failure is what is important. Who determines what a failure is exactly? Even if we don't get the job, the person or opportunity we went after or we wanted, if we change our definitions of failure from a defeat to the one of opportunity for redirection or learning, we see that nothing ever goes wrong for us. Either we get what we set out to do, or we are redirected to something better. The next one is, I'm afraid I will never be as wealthy, popular, funny, intelligent, insert any adjective here, as the people around me, or as my friends, or as my family, or whatever. This fear stems from the belief that we need to be like others in order to not only be liked by them, but to achieve some sort of standard of what a person should be. But you are unique. When we embrace our individuality instead of trying to live up to someone else's standard, things will begin to change. Life is an ongoing journey of using our thoughts, beliefs, and expectations to create the life that we truly want. Fearful emotions can serve us by showing us where we are still holding on to limited beliefs about life or about ourselves that are inhibiting us from living out our highest potential. Instead of being overtaken by our emotions, we can use them as our guide and our compass to navigate our way to our best life ever. Now the question is, how to deal with this fear, or how to turn the tables on fear. The only thing to fear is oneself. And if you can control that, then volition and action may at last coincide. As said by Robert Rowland Smith, we all want to change things for the better, and yet most of us seek to settle into our comfort zones. But we have enough settled dust in this world. what we need are more fearless spirits willing to kick up some dust, to shake things up, to not settle on comfort and security, meaning the feeling of not getting hurt. Fear is the most common obstacle to changing things for the better. Whether it's the fear of change or the fear of discomfort, the fear of messing up, the fear of failing, the fear of what people might think, fear can be an ugly, crippling thing, right? So let's go step by step to turn the tables on fear. The first step is to recognize fear as comfort zone expansion. The world was made to be free. In this we know in our bones, and this definitive and fearful knowledge is what both supports us and requires us to turn away from our secure but less than joyful lives, as said by Bill Plotkin. When we can recognize the feeling of fear as comfort zone expansion, Carpe Diem becomes a battle cry, meaning seizing the day, living in the present, should be more focused upon rather than worrying about the future. We are seized by our own freedom, and with freedom comes responsibility. So what we do with this freedom is the greatest responsibility of all. Do we fall in love with the journey, or do we falter in anxiety? Do we push the envelope and self-liberate, or do we get paper cuts from suppressing the inevitability of change? Do we rigidly stagnate or flexibly expand? Feel the fear. Use it as fuel for the fire. Fear can be an excuse to curl up into a ball at the center of our comfort zone, or it can be an impulse to radically thrust out. A healthy disposition is the thing. A daring temperament coupled with a heightened state of awareness is key. Stretch the comfort zone until it snaps, then put on the brakes, regroup, and design a more flexible comfort zone so the next time you're able to stretch even further. Flatten the box everybody is thinking in. Then use it as material to build a bigger box. Then repeat. Eventually, with enough practice, fear will just become a reason to courageously grow. The second step can be transform demons into diamonds. In a world of tension and breakdown, it is necessary for there to be those who seek to integrate their inner lives not by avoiding anguish and running away from problems, but by facing them in their naked reality and in their ordinariness, as said by Thomas Merton. Facing the shadow of your unconscious can be unpleasant, but confronting your demons is the only way to unravel the knots that have you tied to fear. Don't worry so much about being uncomfortable with your demons. Focus on comforting your demons instead. This way you are truly able to embrace them And instead of being your enemy, they become your ally. Don't avoid what you fear at the expense of obtaining what you desire. Then again, don't cling to what you desire at the expense of your journey. Transforming demons into diamonds is eliminating the middleman and turning him into a right-hand man who can help you with being more flexible and robust on your journey of self-exploration, so that you are more capable of obtaining or manifesting what you desire. Sometimes we surrender ourselves to our demons, and sometimes our demons surrender to us. But a balance is maintained within such sacred pressure, and diamonds are revealed despite the rough they have been hiding in. The third step can be by embracing our insecurity and not clinging to security. Man, the animal who knows he's not safe here, who needs continued affirmation of his powers, is the one animal who is implacably driven to work beyond animal needs, precisely because he's not a secure animal, as said by Ernest Becker. Our hyperculture creates the seeming need for hypersecurity. This has led us into believing that we need more and more security to a dizzyingly paranoid degree. But when we are paranoid, we are overly obsessive and distrustful with our own feelings, with the divine process, which just leads to more fear. So break the cycle of fear by using insecure courage as leverage against secure cowardice. It seems counterintuitive, right? Because it is counterintuitive. Because otherwise we feel too safe. Otherwise, irrational fear keeps us married to rational comfort zones, and we never gain the courage to grow. So seek not security, but absolute insecurity. The kind of insecurity that is so uncertain that it becomes a delight to be in a constant state of perpetual adventure, where we are able to hope for the best and be prepared for the worst within our own courage, instead of leaning on the crutch of security, be it codependent or independent. Being extremely independent is also a type of security, because there is nobody to hurt us. So swim against the tide of paranoia, quote the unexpected, celebrate astonishment, embrace insecurity. It's only within the throes of our own insecurity where we'll be able to discover the magic for resolving our fears. Embrace progress, not perfection. Nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more, so that we may fear less, as said by Marie Curie. Fear feeds on the need to be perfect. What if I'm not able to make this? What if I'm not successful, right? What if I'm not number one? You'll never get around to doing anything if you are always worried about being perfect or even good. Let the need for perfection go. and you free yourself to be courageous, vulnerable. You turn the tables on fear. Perfection is an illusion. Imperfection is reality slapping us across the face. Being okay with being imperfect is us slapping reality right back. It's kicking fear in the nuts and declaring to the gods our own mortality and the need to be perfect, that this imperfect, prone to mistakes, fallible human being is going to embrace progress despite perfection. It is understanding, balls to bones, ovaries to marrow, that the pursuit of flawlessness is flawed. The journey is truly the thing. Progress trumps perfection. Growth trumps flawlessness. Improvement is the path, despite whether or not excellence comes at the end of it. In the grand scheme of things, there are neither rewards nor punishments, only consequences. Embrace adventure, not happiness. Attitude is the difference between ordeal and adventure, as said by Carl Free. So great is people's fear of unhappiness that they flock to the slightest distraction. But the problem with distraction is that it obeys a diminishing law of returns. Better to face unhappiness full on, grab it by the throat, allow it to fill you with an emptiness that you can then fill with your own meaning. The meaning gained from living life on purpose leads to a kind of happiness not dependent upon comfort or feeling good or contentness or anything like that, but determined by how far we can push our comfort zones, live flexibly but healthy lives, and challenge ourselves to grow. When we let go of the need to be happy, we free ourselves to be present in the moment, in the grip of the here and now. That's the adventure. That's life. The moment may be sad or happy, but at least we are aware of it. At least we are experiencing it. At least we are present. At least we are alive. If happiness should come, so be it. But being present, being alive, isn't about being just happy. It's about being real. It's about living life to the fullest, experiencing the full spectrum of life, experiencing all kinds of colors of life, despite either happiness or unhappiness. People have fear about death, but at the same time, they complain about everything in their life. Actually, people do not fear death. They fear dying before they have had a chance to live. When we are liberated from the need to be happy, we are no longer afraid of unhappiness, and so we are more likely to discover meaning in the present moment. And it is precisely within self-discovered meaning where true happiness is found. It's just a matter of getting out of our own way. If we can embrace adventure first, regardless of happiness, we are more likely to discover authentic happiness, unconditional happiness, abundance, real abundance, be it relationships, be it money, or any dream or passion or desire as a rewarding side effect. don't chase happiness, don't objectify happiness, or don't define happiness and put it in a box of money, power, position, or a loved partner. I'm not saying that money is not important. A romantic partner or a family is not important, or a friend is not important, or some luxury is not important. Everything is important. Everything has its own place in our life. But don't attach that one thing to your happiness. Live your life purpose. Happiness will follow. But as a side effect only, lest the fear of unhappiness infiltrate the present moment and bring our adventure to an unfortunate halt. Living a meaningful life in which you are actually taking something good, a lesson to your next phase of your journey, or even valuable to your next incarnation if you believe in. Meaning is the cake. Self-discovered meaning is the icing on that cake. And happiness is the sprinkles. But we can do with or without sprinkles when living adventurously, right? Well, that was all that I wanted to share with you today. I encourage you to listen to a track that I'll be playing next. It's a beautiful track, and I used to I still listen it when I feel fear running through me, or anxiety, or I feel lonely, or I feel hopeless. This has always helped me through and gain my ground. Probably it will help you too. It's always nice to be comforted by someone or something, right? When we are feeling low. So listen to it and stay tuned till my next video. Till then, keep sharing and spreading love. God bless you in your beautiful journey of life. And thank you so much for listening. Please feel free to comment below, like, share, and subscribe so that more and more people can benefit.
Life is too short to keep solving problem one after another, I tell you. Just wake up and walk ahead. Problems will get solved by themselves. You're not alone, my dear. Wake up. You're not alone. All the problems are getting solved. And there is some power with you who's walking you through all the problems. You're not alone, my dear.
न सबूत है न दलील है, न सबूत है न दलील है, मेरे साथ रब जलील है, मेरे साथ रब जलील है। न सबूत है न दलील है, न सबूत है न दलील है, मेरे साथ रब्बे जलील है। रहमत कहते हैं कृपा, ग्रेस, और एहतियात का मतलब है प्रिपरेशन, केयर, प्रिकॉशन। तेरी रहमतों में कमी नहीं, तेरी रहमतों में कमी नहीं, तेरी रहमतों में कमी नहीं। मेरी एहतियात में ढील है, मेरी एहतियात में ढील है। न सबूत है न दलील है। मुझे कौन तुझसे अलग करे, मुझे कौन तुझसे अलग करे, मुझे कौन तुझसे अलग करे। मैं अटूट प्यास तू झील है, मैं अटूट प्यास तू झील है। न सबूत है न दलील है। मुख्तसर कहते हैं शॉर्ट, छोटा सा, और तवील का मतलब है इलैबोरेट, व्यापक। तेरा नाम कितना है मुख्तसर, तेरा नाम, तेरा नाम, तेरा नाम कितना है मुख्तसर, तेरा नाम कितना है मुख्तसर। तेरा जिक्र कितना तवील है, तेरा जिक्र कितना तवील है। न सबूत है न दलील है। मेरे साथ रब्बे जलील है। मैं अटूट प्यास तू झील है। तेरा जिक्र कितना तवील है। मेरी एहतियात में ढील है। मेरे साथ रब्बे जलील है।
You're not alone, my dear.